Students of computer science of the great University of Calabria, I have seen surprise and desperation on your eyes. I know I'm destroying your beliefs, and I don't hide that I just started. I will go on eating harder and harder until your house of cards will fall apart. Don't try to protect it. Surrender to the evidence that your approach to coding must change, and it's time to leave House of Cards behind us. Don't be scared, I will show you a different approach. One that doesn't use cards but actual bricks. In secure software design, we have seen that domain-driven design uses value objects, entities, and aggregates. Value objects are objects that are treated as values. As such, they are immutable like integer and string literals. You cannot modify the integer literal 5, but you can assign a different integer literal to an integer variable. Similarly, we cannot modify value objects, but we can assign a different value object to a variable. Entities are used to represent the mutable state of the domain, and aggregates are special entities in charge of coordinating complex transactions. One aspect to keep in mind is that the goal of DDD is to produce a domain model. And by now, we should have got an idea that most developers have never seen a domain model. Possibly, they have seen a class diagram, or perhaps an entity relationship diagram. But those are technical aspects that should come later in the design of a complex system. Often, entities of a domain model are serialized to entities, or tables, of a relational database. But not all applications include a relational database, and not all entities must necessarily be associated with a table. It's not a bad idea to decouple the public interface, the business logic or service layer, and the persistency layer. On the other hand, it's often the case that value objects are not associated with tables. But it's not forbidden to have an auxiliary table to store value objects, which can also be convenient if, for example, there are few of them that occur frequently in entities. You see, you started learning bottom-up, working with classes and tables, and this is giving you a huge dangerous bias. Should you start by designing classes or focus on the database? None of them. Your work must start with a domain model. Only later you should approach technical aspects like classes and tables, or also the user interface. In cyber offense and defense, we have seen authentication and business logic vulnerabilities. They arise from flawed assumptions or improper implementation, and their consequences can be critical. As computer scientists, we usually push extreme efficiency, and we work hard to design and implement fast algorithms. We have seen that sometimes being slow is preferable. Hashed password must be designed so that their computation is sufficiently inefficient to slow down brute force attacks. We have also seen how any form of username enumeration may significantly reduce the effort for an attacker to brute force credentials. At an asymptotic level, the complexity drops from quadratic to linear time. At a practical level, it means that something requiring hours is done in a few minutes. And we have seen that even protection mechanisms may be exploited if not carefully designed. Locking accounts after 5 wrong login attempts may result into username enumeration. Last but not least, we have seen how improperly designed discounts may result in money creation if they can be applied to gift cards. Whether you create €1 or 1 cent, if you can repeat the process indefinitely, you can create how much money you want. Just wait for enough time. And if you are really impatient, run the attack in parallel. Obviously, always have a look at your hat. Its color must be white. which means you will simply report the issue without really exploiting it. More stuff to come this week. More houses of cards to destroy. As usual, at University of Calabria. A campus made with solid bricks.